Decided on a location for sunset for tonight, and it's one of the obvious ones. It's called Picture Lake, and it's got a big, on the Google map, it's got a big icon with like a camera on it and pointing at it, so you know what it's for. And so it's stunning, and it's a worthy name. The lake has a absolute perfect reflection on it right now. It's kind of like Reflection Lake at Mount Rainier. I guess it'd be real similar to that, but it's absolutely gorgeous. We're here early, and so are the bugs. Holy shit, there's about 1 trillion of my favorite mosquitoes with us at the moment, but I think it'll be worth it. Take a look at this. So I'm gonna have to put my bug net on. Seriously, it's just insane. But this is really an obvious thing. I don't need to tell you too much other than you don't want to cut off your mountain. You want to have your mountain so that it doesn't hit the shore of the little lake that we're at. And in order to do that, you're going to need to get your tripod up as high as possible. So you can see along the lake here, you don't want your mountain to hit the shoreline. You want to have space around it. You don't want it to intersect. And this location here, it intersects like right there and like right here where those bushes, those little flowers are kind of reaching out into the lake. So you just kind of finesse your composition to eliminate that as best you possibly can. And it may not be totally possible, but let me get this bug net on before I become a shriveled up person with no blood left from the mosquitoes. Darren said it's like Jurassic mosquitoes out here, and he's not wrong. I mean, they're like small birds and UFOs flying into the frame. They're so big. Oh my God! But this is a dead simple composition, like I just said, and there's no clouds because that's my life. When we go out to do sunset and sunrise, no clouds, just crystal blue sky. But the light's getting really, really pretty on the mountain, and the reflection is gorgeous in the lake and the green all the way around it. So I will definitely take it. And I'm bracketing the shot simply because it's really bright up there in the sky, and then all the foreground and all the stuff around the lake's in shade. So, I'm just convenience sake, I'm just automatically letting the camera do the brackets and just checking to make sure the highlights are captured and the shadows are captured the way I want, and calling it a day. So the shutter speed doesn't matter at all. F11 and ISO 100. And that's the shot. And you notice I've got the mountain totally separated from the shore of the lake right here at the very, very bottom of the frame. And that's what I was going for. That was the important thing for me. So the shot comes out. I'll show it to you right now. Morning. We're doing the Table Mountain Loop Trail. I believe that's what it's called. It's about 7 miles. And this is more, again, it's a scouting. We brought our cameras, but it's more scouting, and it's during the day. So no tripods, trying to go lighter with our packs. And so far this just getting started, but the scenery's gorgeous. It's absolutely fantastic. So I got a lot of hiking to do today, and I'll show you everything I can share with you everything I see. My apologies, it's the Chain Lakes Trail. It's a loop trail that we're doing today. About over 1,000 feet of elevation already. And we started out down there at that lake and we made our way up to here. And you can see Mount Baker just peeking out over the top up there. So continue on this trail. It's going to take us all the way up and around. And as soon as we get up there, you'll get to see it. Maybe get a photo up there too. It just depends on what we find. So there's the saddle, and then you can see the trail as it zigzags all the way down. And then there's the lake where we started, right down in there. And that's where I've got to get to. I'm gonna be done with the hike, have something cold to drink, get off my feet, take these boots off for a little bit, and come up with a plan for sunset. Sunset, day 2, so we're headed out. We're at Artist Point, and we're going to go out to the end where we were scouting yesterday and found a couple of possible compositions. Blue skies, that's all we've got. It's all we will ever have, unless I'm at home and I look out the window and the sky is going to be on fire. That's what happens when I'm at home, but when I'm out doing photography, this is what I get all the time. So the shot here is just pretty simple. Just there's the mountain. You've got this great valley. Part of it's in some shade, and just it's on both sides back here of the mountain. It kind of comes in, and it's got a saddle in the middle there. So that's kind of like your mid ground, and then the mountain Shuksan behind that back there. F11 about 35 millimeters, and I'm just going to do one shot for these shadows down here because it's pretty dark. As you can see in my face, it's dark. So I'm going to do one shot for the shadows just to make sure when I bring it up, I don't get too much noise, and then I'll make sure I don't blow out the highlights in the snow. It's good to go. And if the shot comes out, I'll show it to you right now. The shot didn't come out that great, but I wanted to share it with you anyway. The dynamic range is just too great, the shadows too harsh, the sky too blue, and it's just not that interesting. The light is just not helping out at all. The sun is setting, and there's no clouds to on Shuksan, and there's really none on Baker either, but I'm headed back the direction where there's just a little bit of pink from the sunset, because I think that's going to be a better opportunity for another photograph. So hopefully I can get one more in before it gets dark. Like I was saying, I decided to head back towards Mt Baker instead of Shuksan because at least the clouds over here are catching some pretty light. Hopefully the video is going to pick it up by me underexpose it a little bit. See over there where it's going to get a little bit of orange, and then it's nice blue. There's Mount Baker, and then as I go to the right where the sun is setting, we got some nice orange color over there as well. And it was just solid blue back at Shuksan. So I decided to come back over here, and I'm just going to do a pano because there's not a lot of color right there, but it's around the edges. So I'm going to do a couple of different panos, three shot panos at some different focal lengths, so I have something to choose from when I get it back on the computer, because it's really hard with the amount of mosquitoes that are just covering the camera and covering everything to like fine tune and focus and check. So I'm just I'm like spraying and praying. I'm just taking a bunch of shots, and I'm hoping that I can pull something out when I get it back on the computer. So we finally got our sunrise color. Check this out. So this is Table Mountain. I'm going to talk while I shoot just for a brief minute. The climb up here was not fun. It was really steep and super dangerous, steep drop-offs to your death. I wouldn't put it on par with Angel's Landing, but it was pretty scary. But it's a true trail. People do it every day, so it wasn't like we were blazing any new things and just risking our lives for a photograph, because that was not the case at all. It was just required utmost concentration in 2 hands and 2 feet. And the mosquitoes, this is where I have this on. The mosquitoes have decided that it's breakfast time, even though we're at like 5,500 feet of elevation. And they're just like eating us alive here. Oh, and behind us, you can see there's Baker. It's starting to kick off. So we got to finish this. Just did like a 3-shot pano, and then making sure I get this lake in the foreground. No filters. F11 ISO 100 bracketing, just so I can quickly get the shots, so not to blow out the sky, and make sure I've got good shadow detail. It's the same thing as always. Nothing complicated at all about it. I'm gonna get one more round just to be sure, and then I'm moving on. And you'll see the photos at the end of the video. I've got to get to the next spot. Kind of made an error. We should have Darren and I should have just stayed down there when we were shooting the best color on Shuksan, because we had not done this trail before, and we assumed it was very, very short, not a very long distance from where we were to where we could set up and get the best view of Mt. Baker. But the problem was we were wrong, and there were some steep sections that were, it slowed us down a lot. And by the time we got set up, the alpenglow was gone off the mountain. And so the shot that I got of Mt. Baker, I'll show it along with the other shots that you haven't seen yet. But it'd have been the same. Excuse me, this microphone will not stay. It would have been the same look as we could have shot during the day yesterday on that big loop trail, because it was just, by the time the sun gets up, I mean, at least it's a little bit softer, because it's a little bit skimming that horizon, maybe a little bit more blue in the sky. But yeah, it is what it is. And sometimes you second guess yourself and you do okay. And sometimes you second guess and then it kind of comes out like this, and you should have just got the shot, even though it might not have been, there might have been a better composition further on. There might not have been, and so you take what you get. So that's lesson learned for me, is when the light's good, stop and just find something, because that light doesn't last, and that alpenglow was gone within 5 minutes, and then it was all over. If there's any doubt in your mind how steep that those switchbacks were that I just filmed, let me show you what it looks like from the bottom. That's where we were up at the top. And so once you get up to the top, you just walk along for the most part, the top of it. But that's what we just came down. It's approaching sunset. This is our last evening here, and we've got crystal blue skies again. So we got lucky this morning. We decided to not shoot the standard mountains at sunset simply because it's blue skies. Nothing's going to be different than what we've already photographed. So we're coming down to Bagley Lake, and it's a trail that goes around, and just trying to find some compositions. It's an easy trail, it's an easy hike, and it's very close to the parking lot. And we're just looking for, there's little cascading waterfalls, wildflowers are in bloom. So I'm sure we can find some really cool little compositions. No backpack, just a camera, a lens, and a tripod in case there's a little waterfall and we need to slow that shutter down. But that's all that we're carrying. It's very, very close. But because we do have clear skies tonight, we're going to try to do some astro. So we're going to see how well that works out. Clouds will probably move in right about 9 o'clock. That's my prediction. This is just beautiful. It's a little too hot back here on the mountains, and the sun's setting over in this direction, over that way. So I'm just waiting for that to kind of go a little bit more in shade and not be so harsh. But then we've got this beautiful little stream that just runs right up into the mountain, into that V right there. It's going to be a great photograph, I'm absolutely certain. I've just got to wait for that light to get a little bit better. The light's gotten a lot better on the mountain back there. Unfortunately, it's still blue skies, but it's definitely worth taking the shot now. There's a little bit of light still happening on these trees on the left, and the great leading line with the falls, little bitty rapids right here, kind of leading out of the right-hand side of the frame. Also, I used it's around 48 millimeters because I wanted to bring those trees in that mountain a little bit closer and make it bigger in the frame. I didn't want it to be small. If I get closer to the falls, I have to zoom out, and it's going to push that mountain and make it smaller. So I didn't want that. I wanted that mountain to be bigger. So that's an important thing to think about when you're picking a lens. It's not just wide angle, it's what is it doing to the background. And so that's really was the overriding factor for using my 24-105. And I'm at around 48 millimeters, somewhere around in there, instead of using a wide angle and getting really, really close to the falls. Probably not going to be able to see. It's kind of a big glare on the back, and I've overexposed it already. But the main thing was not to blow out the sky, because I want it to be blue, at least blue, not white. So I had to bracket for that. And then water look that I wanted about 1/8 of a second. Let me get the mosquitoes off my hands. So around 1/8 of a second is what I was going for my look of the water. And then just to make sure that I didn't, like I say, blow out those highlights, and take a couple of those bracketed shots, put them together, and I'll show it to you right now. last night, Darren and I did some astrophotography to do some Milky Way over Mount Baker. It came out okay, I think. The problem was a lot of light pollution from Seattle, and the moon was rising. But the moon gave an unexpected, before it got above really got above the mountains, it gave a really unexpected surprise to Baker. It kind of lit it up. So I think it's going to come out really, really cool. And I'm going to end the video with that photograph, along with any others that come out that I didn't get a chance to show you. As always, thanks for watching. Please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Really appreciate it. And we'll see you next time.